No, 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 she's gone. No, I'm just kidding. Hi, Francine.
Good morning, Dakota.
Oops.
Oops.
Oh, oops. I stopped your video when I went to go start your video. I'm sorry.
There we go. There's my camera. Good morning. How are you?
I am pretty good. It's always a beautiful day in paradise when I'm above dirt. I think we know this though.
But the big question is, how's my next book?
Oh, I'm getting the or getting the backdrops finished up. I'm still working through some other stuff, and then I got to get the models taken care of.
I'm so excited.
But you will have cover and first page, which kind of seemed appropriate when I was making the first page, and you'll understand why when I send it to you. You'll
Perfect.
probably have that by tomorrow.
Oh, that just woke me right up.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that made me smile. And
So, Francine, tell us all about you. You have the next 15 minutes.
oh, we're starting early too, so I have a little extra time, huh?
Shh. Shh.
I just want to talk about waking up with a smile
It's
because
nice.
it is. And not only that, it is infectious. I heard you say that before. I just want to tell everybody a little story before we really get started about me. One day, my husband and I went to Walmart and we pulled into the parking spot, and there's this lady next to me, and you could just see the anger in her face. And she was, she had her phone and she was just yelling at the person on the other end and pointing and just having an argument of some kind. And then I saw her go like that. And then she looked at her phone and I could just read her mind. She said, nope, that costs too much. I'm not going to throw it. I got out of my car. She opened her door. She got out of her car. And I just stood there and I smiled and I said, good morning. And you could see all of that anger, all of that frustration melt away from her. Well, later on, we're walking through the store and we pass in the aisle. And she thanked me. She said, thank you so much. I needed that. Now I think I could go home with a different attitude and not blow up again. That one smile probably affected, well, it did affect her. I'm sure it's going to affect the person she was angry and fighting with. And it probably affected everybody in their little inner circle, which in turn, I'm sure, affected more people. It's a domino effect. That is what a smile could do for people. And that is why I love to smile. I just randomly walk around and I smile. Not always met with appreciation, though. my One of my jobs, I worked with these two grumpy old men. And I came in early, so I was sitting at my desk when they came in and they opened the door. And I say, good morning, sunshine. Don't talk to me until I've had my first cup of coffee. Okay, that's why my alarm clock didn't go off. I set it for the wrong time.
Oops.
It's a good thing I wake up in the morning and jump out of bed without my alarm clock because I was so excited to come here today and talk about the power of a smile. Now, as a children's book author, I go out and I read to children. And I love not only making them smile, but then you could even see on the parents' face that they're enjoying it too. And there is nothing better than a 2 year old's giggle. So I'm going to ask everybody here to please follow me on Facebook just my name, because I post videos of 2-year-olds giggling. I post videos of me just acting silly and reading my stories to kids. So if you ever just really need to smile, look me up on Facebook, find one of my videos, and just melt into the smiles and the giggles. And I just want you to know that Dakota helps make that happen with these beautiful illustrations. Sorry, I just had to show it off.
No worries.
And this cover, isn't that a beautiful book? And I'm going to post the link in the comment in case anyone wants to go to Amazon and look it up.
I was gonna say, make sure you get your link for Facebook as well in there.
I will do that. There is the link for the book. Now, more about smiles. The reason I do this, I wasn't always this smiling well, no, I always smiled on the outside, but I wasn't smiling on the inside because I was always angry at somebody for something. Everything that was wrong in my life was always everybody else's fault. Have you ever experienced that? You were in the military. You know what I'm talking about. If it wasn't you,
Mhm.
there was somebody else there.
Oh no, I was the guy who subconsciously always volunteered himself to be that guy.
You didn't get that promotion. Well, it was his fault because he didn't give you an opportunity. Or you didn't get to go on that great trip. Well, it's their fault. Not that someone deserved it better for you. No, it's their fault for not picking you. And those are just two minor examples. Everything was everybody else's fault. Even my bad marriage, I blamed him. But guess what? It was my fault for letting him do it to me, right? Everything that happened in life was my fault. And when I learned that, that's when I learned that no matter what the world is happening outside of me, it's how I look at it, how I perceive it, and how I react to it that matters.
That reminds me a lot of success principles. The very first chapter is all about that. Basically, is taking full 100% accountability for your life, everything that, to include the things that you were talking about. And it's exactly like you said. Yet you had to think about it on the opposite end of. I also let him do these things. I didn't. I didn't walk away. I didn't do this. And I love that you did that because a lot of people won't take the time to do that, Francine. So that's amazing.
So now when I coach people, I ask them to look inside. I ask them to do that deep self reflection. And that is included in my children's books because my children's books are just my adult self help book broken down into little chunks and made into a fun fairy tale so children could understand and connect. And the funny part about it, okay, there we go. Get that alarm clock off. I'm awake now. The funny part about writing these children's stories and connecting with the children is I'm also sending the same message to the adults who read it to them. And where some adults won't read a self-help book, they will read a children's book to their kids. So I'm a deep meditator. And in a meditation once, I asked, how can I make my don't have children? I didn't know how to speak to kids. And I fought that message. I don't want to be a children's book author. I don't know anything about kids. But it, have you have you ever had a urge or a nudge and it just kept boom poking at you? Well,
Yes, ma'am.
becoming a children's book author just boom boom. So I decided to try. And this was before I met Perfect Publishing, before I met Ken, before I met you. And I was with this old publisher. And it's like one block after another. And I was losing that inner smile because in my mind, it was their fault. This wasn't progressing. And then I decided to take that deep self reflection. And I realized I was still blocking it right here. I was still blocking it myself because I was afraid of children because I don't have them. I don't know how to talk to them. How do you write for a kid? What age group? That's when I started to heal that block. I started to heal that wound of not having children. And that is when I was on this podcast and I was mentioning how, yeah, I had this great adult book and I'm trying to turn it into a children's book, but my publisher is not doing their job. And he said, well, you need to talk to my publisher. And I did. And the rest is history. Anybody here is listening to me. If there is something blocking you in your writing, I'd say first go inside and see if it's something inside of you that's blocking you. And if you need help, you could call me, or there's a plethora of other great coaches who could help you drill down into what the true block is, what is really creating that resistance for you. And then, if you haven't talked to Ken about publishing yet, do it because it's been the greatest experience. Besides just the writing and the publishing, I have had so much fun with the experience of promoting the books and meeting all these great people. And then I'm a Toastmaster, and we had a big conference in Florida. And Ken came down to my conference as a sponsor. And we had so much fun interacting. Ken had so much fun interacting with my friends and introducing them to Perfect Publishing. So this isn't just a one and done publishing experience. They don't just get your book up there on Amazon. They're in it for the long haul to help you become successful. And the reason I'm saying this is, yeah, it's a plug for Perfect Publishing and a plug for Dakota and his illustrations, but we're talking about smiles here. You have a story. You have something that needs to be told to the world. You deserve the best vehicle to get your story to the most people. And I'm going to
And
rephrase that.
oh, one
Oh,
question I like to ask
yeah.
on that, and this is my favorite question that I like to ask anybody that wants to kind of consider perfect publishing is, what kind of impact would you like your book to make?
Yes. What kind of impact would you like your book to make? Because not only do you deserve to have your story told, the people who need to hear your story deserve to hear it.
All right, Francine, we are coming up on the last 5 minutes. I just wanted to let you know. So,
Yes.
is there any final message you want to get out there?
I just want to kind of recap a little bit. Number one, if you ever need a giggle, just look me up on Facebook. Please follow me because I tell funny stories. I get into character. This is this is the character, and I want you to know I sent Dakota word salad on what he looked like, and I met him in a meditation. So I just had a bunch of words about what this guy looked like, and Dakota designed him for me. But
We
this
went through
guy,
about 3 days, 3 days of working together and just sending it back and forth and back and forth.
right? Yeah, no, not like a duck. He needs to be fat and cuddly. I don't like that beak, but eventually. And this isn't really the best depiction. That's the best the toy company could do. We're working on a new one. But if you could see him there, look at Sparkle Feathers. Um, but I do the funny voices, the physical comedy. Ah, there you go. You could see him there. Isn't he amazing? At Sparkle Feathers. And Sparkle Feathers helps the children overcome and get past their inner blocks before they turn into trauma that we have to heal as adults. And that's my whole mission. Let's raise strong and confident kids today so we don't have to fix broken adults later. And the best way to start that mission is to spread smiles because a smiling adult will raise a happier child.